And y'all had all of it and wasn't doing nothing with it.
That's what I always say what you want to about me, baby, because I'm going to make sure whatever you have to bring them about me, I'm going to turn it into a success story.
Exactly.
Yeah, so what, I did so-and-so at one point. So what, I made this decision. But I'm going to use it to inspire people to do better, because we all do dumb shit. But I think whenever you're talking about, because you've built up this platform and this person that you are, it's like, well, we gotta debunk this by saying I helped her out, I made her who she is, instead of and it's like, you're right when you said it a minute ago. It's like, if they had known I'd been here, they would have been nicer to me. Yeah, because they would have used yes. So that makes what a beautiful perspective. Absolutely. So you're going through that, and you how long were you in the Dandies?
I was there, I think, for 2 years.
Okay,
for 2 years.
Did that mold you or change your vision of who you are as a person? Did you realize, like, wow, I'm up against some really corrupt shit here?
I mean, even then, whenever, like, because I even stood up for myself then, whenever
Good for you.
I stopped talking to everybody, I actually tried to quit the team. The coach begged me to stay on the team, and I told her, I was like, the only way I'll stay on this team is I was like, if I get to get in front of all of the girls and all of their parents and let them know that I know that there's things being said about me, and I know that the hostility towards me is way more than the fact that I'm a good horse rider. I know that it has, I have what I wrote back in 2015, but I was like, the only way I'll stay on this team. And there was a mandatory meeting that Sunday for all the parents, and the rodeo board.
Was your mom present at any of it? So she was like, I'm gonna have my babies back.
So I didn't know who the 3 families were until I got in front of all of these parents, all 40 parents, and all 20 of their daughters. There's 20 of us total, I believe. Because we had the little people that fill in, the younger girls, because there was no longer a junior dandy. And I remember I talked to the parents. Nothing happened because the rodeo board still had to talk. Then I went outside to the girls, and I talked to all of the girls. And 2 of the girls got off their horses and started crying. I was like, what the hell is going on? I was shocked too. I was like, why is Elena not crying? And then I remember I was looking at Timber. I was like, why is Timber crying? Oh, y'all were the ones talking about me. It was y'all's family. Right after the parent meeting was over with the rodeo board, they told Angela Stevens, they were like, hey, the way she was acting, they were like, hey, we will ban you from all dandy practices. You will not be allowed at any performances. You won't be allowed on this property if you keep acting this way. She was having like a whole cow because I didn't get kicked off the team, or I wasn't there no more. And like at this point, I'm still not knowing that they were so mad because they found that picture. And now that I think about it, I think Zen was just holding a beer bottle. I don't think I was holding the beer bottle. I think it was just him. I was in a picture where there was
trying to find
like just whatever they could.
So there was just something about your aura. And I think they probably saw that you had a lot. Like you just meet people and you're like, there's something different about them, and they're just destined for greatness. Like they just knew that about you, so they were just like, you know what, we're gonna. Because you're right, when people are handed everything, not saying that people that are handed everything can't be successul, but it's those that really don't have shit that make you want to grind. Like I didn't have anything, and I had to work, but you appreciate it more, and seeing that
take it more seriously too.
When people wanted to see, a lot of people that may have everything, they are not always the people that always have the most support out of their peers. But then seeing somebody who doesn't have anything have so much support, at the end of the day, that's what people want. It's just people to love them and people to support them. And you can be the richest motherfucker out there, but don't mean you've got people. It don't mean you've got people that support you and want to see you succeed. It's just something you got that people want, and that's usually your money, right?
I think,
and so to see that see that support for you, probably really struck something internal for them.
I think being like very in tune with like reality and things going on, because things weren't sugarcoated for me. Like I think I can even think of like those little moments in life where maybe some people like at my age wouldn't have understood it or been able to like comprehend, or it makes sense to them. But I remember I was in 9th grade. I went to Trinity. All their kids are the surgeons, the doctors, the lawyers in this town. And I remember like I always see this woman's mom like on the billboards, and I remember being in 9th grade, and she was like, oh, you and your mom go get your nails done together? And I was like, yeah, like all the time. She was like, I wish my mom would take me to go get my nails done. And I'm like, girl, you got every pair of Birkenstocks, everything you want. Like you have, I remember being in 9th grade, like, damn, she didn't even like, but it's like, those people that you're envious of, like, oh, they have so much more than me, and have so much less love and attention and affection than you would even think. And I think that's why, like, for me, I'm not very materialistic. Like, I love to have nice things, but like, do I care? No,
that doesn't give you your
it doesn't make me
success.
feel good. I think for me, it's always the things that like you can't buy with money that have always been so much more. Because I'm like, I've met so many. I mean, I have friends that are millionaires.
Yeah.
They're still not happy, still looking for something more. Come from families that have everything, and I'm like, and they still have. It seems like they still have nothing. That all it's. I remember being young, realizing that sometimes all people have are are things. That's it. They don't have,
absolutely. That's
it.
what defines them as they rate themselves of how great they are by what they have.
Yeah.
And I've seen that, personally with my ex's family, it like I'll go into the little upset nobody. I'm trying to get my child support. Okay. Trying to get that child support, okay? So I ain't gonna go. No. I just say that because I know what you're saying. And for you to, I know me and my daughter, man, we're tight. Like we're best friends, and what I'm sensing from you, your mom is like your best friend. You love your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah. Absolutely.
she gave you something, especially being a teen mom. Like we don't have the money to spoil our kids and go on trips and all that. Usually that's what grandparents are for,
Exactly.
And for her, the only thing I had to give my daughter was my companionship and just to let her know she's not alone in this world and to know like she's trying to decide what colleges she wants to go to and she's like, I can't go that far from you. She's like, I got to be close to you. And it's because we had nothing and it was just us. So I love that you had, and that's envious. There's a lot of her friends that are they tell me things that they can't tell their parents and they're envious of our relationship. And I've even talked to other parents who are envious of because my daughter still wants to hold my hand or love on me or take pictures with me or ask me to hang out with her. Like not that teenage, like, don't, you're embarrassing, So, so I could see that. And I see that's a lot of adversity for you to go through. So we get through the dandies, deal with the bullshit. We're in high school. You graduate. Take us from there. What's that look like for you?
Yeah, so
you're taking the dandies at this point, right?
Yes. Once I graduated college, our season ended in like June or July of that year. Yeah, I did my last few rodeos. And then went to college, went to tech. Yeah. College was crazy.
Did you live it up in college?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Girl, you did, didn't you?
So yeah.
Where's tech at? Is that Russellville?
Yeah.
West Vegas.
Yeah, so I went there for like...
Wasn't there a club there? There was a club, I thought, so mind you, I'm like 3,000 years older than you. Yeah, West Vegas, and like they used to go up to this 18 and over club back in the day.
I wasn't old enough to go to any clubs yet, but we went to the party.
Parties?
Okay. So I went there for first semester, and then I transferred to the U of A because I met this guy. It was...
always a guy in it.
But we had so much fun. We were already going to Fayetteville every weekend.
Yeah.
So it was like, college was crazy. And then, I went to, I was 19 whenever like second year of college when I found out I was first Black rodeo queen. I was like, oh, I probably should clean my stuff.
So when you were first Black rodeo queen, what does that entail? How did you get that title? What did you do? Because you're out of the dandies at this point. I don't know shit about, I just know a little bit about the rodeo because my daughter's cousin, she did rodeoing stuff. So I saw a little bit being in Hackett and stuff. Yeah. I mean, I've been to a cockfight, my God. Like their country is fucking So how did you get into that? And you're still going hard with the rodeo stuff. Yeah.
So I actually, whenever I was a part of the dandies, we had a performance at Coal Hill Rodeo. Okay. And then like my dandy sister, like we were best friends at that point, and she was Miss Rodeo Coal Hill. I remember I was like, oh my God, I would love to do rodeo queen pageant. Yeah. She was like, you should just compete here. And then I think there was 2 girls that competed against me. I can't remember. I know there was a big group of us. I just remember all of the, it's so hard to remember all of the little details, but it's easy to remember the negative shit that was said about. I hate that. So I went, we had our performance. I performed on Freckle, and then me and Otis competed at the Rodeo Queen pageant that morning. And during the rodeo, I was shocked too. Yeah. The queen is Jadayia Kursh. I was like, oh, like I won. That was in 2017. Yeah. Like I was still a dandy. Yeah. I did my performance first, and then we competed.
That pissed everyone off.
Yeah, only one of my teammates came and told me congratulations. I didn't even see, but even then I didn't even know that. Didn't notice like you would think that would have a group picture of me and all of the dandies for me winning. No.
But had it been somebody else, you think it'd been different?
Oh yeah, I think this was the tipping point for all of the drama that came next, because this was May the 5th. It was on my 17th or 18th birthday. I think I was turning 18.
Yeah.
It was on my birthday I was crowned. And I remember even like doing some interviews, even when I went back to that arena for my recrowning, the Swedish network had came and like, you know, they wanted to tell my story in Sweden, and the woman that works in DC to represent them, like, and keep the news going, she'd come out there. I couldn't even get through the interview. I remember just crying so much. I was like, wow, like where I should have so many happy moments. Like, even being that young, not realizing what I was going through, I still never felt good about it, you know?
Really?
But yeah, no, I don't have pictures with my teammates coming up and, like, surrounding me and being like, congratulations. Like, you know, nothing like that. But, so I was crowned. And then, you know, I mean, most rodeo queen pageants, you just walk away, you won. But me, I remember, like, going to Coal Hill. I went and talked at JC Westside, their high school. Like, I really pushed myself.
So this
went
is like
to Hackett High
School.
School.
Okay.
Yeah, this was before. Oh, no, I was already at Hackett. But they'd had me come read to the students and things. So I really pushed it.
Have you always wanted to be a philanthropist in a way? You know, have you always wanted to really be a speaker? And did you know in your head you wanted to change things?
No, I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, until I was introduced to Dandy's racism, I didn't know that there was things in this industry that needed to be changed. Whenever I always say, when I fell in love with horses, I never knew there was an industry for me to go compete in. You know, I just loved horses. Like, I just so happened to be at this rodeo that was having a rodeo queen pageant.
Yeah.
But it's like almost like those things aligned for you.
I know,
for
right?
A reason, don't you think?
Yeah. It all played into, you know, it all played in.
Yeah.
It was meant to be.
Yeah.
See, I thought, just out of assumption and just kind of looking, and I didn't deep dive into you because I wanted to come in here, and that's what I was telling him, with my own. I just wanted I didn't want a narrative. I just
we want to know you for you. We don't want to go by like what people been saying.
I didn't read any comments. I didn't dive. I didn't
either.
I just talked to one person and just had a casual conversation. Just like, you know, my homegirl, like, oh, I'm gonna have so on the show. But other than that, we did not. Yeah, we didn't go in. So we are listening to all of this for the first time. Okay. So I don't know. So I say that because I just wanted my own perspective of you. And I think everyone should do that. Yeah. I think everyone should just meet somebody and just get to know them.
Yeah,
organically, without having this narrative. The only Shaq thing was the other thing I heard. But, you know, and that's it. But so I mean, I haven't stalked your socials or anything like that. So I, just out of assumption of what you're doing, thought that this was always your game plan. Like, I'm gonna be the first Black Rodeo, so I can do this. So you win the first rodeo, Black Rodeo Queen, and now you're speaking at schools. Did this kind of take you off to be like, man, I love this. Like, this is exciting for me.
Well, so I didn't know I was the first Black Rodeo Queen. Okay. And when all of this happened, I had no idea. I had just went to a couple schools, and then that's when things like got so, even my coach started acting weird with Dandy. So I was like, okay, yeah, like, I'm selling everything. At this point, I did have a truck and a trailer and all of those things. Like, I had worked my butt off. I worked at Popeyes. I went to I worked at Popeyes during football too. And
it's not a cheap.
It's not cheap.
So I ended up getting me a truck and getting me a horse trailer. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get my horse and everything. And then I like went through everything with them and got to college. I was like, yeah, I just didn't love it. And I was like, I'm going to sell everything. And then I sold everything. And then I heard from Essence Magazine. I remember I was at 10.
Really?
Like, hey, we're looking for like Black rodeo queens. And you're the only person we can find.
Wow.
And at this point, there was a woman that was crowned a year after me in Michigan. And I was like, what do you mean? I was so confused. Yeah. I was like, you can't find other Black rodeo queens. So then I was like, well, like, let me look. Where are y'all?
Where are y'all?
I remember being like 16 and like looking for like women for me to look up to that looked like me, but I just thought I couldn't find them on Google. I didn't think that there was a whole space or place or like I needed to be taken up. And then so that happened. Heard from Essence Magazine, and then did an interview with them. They like flew out to Texas to interview me and all this stuff. So I thought that was pretty crazy. And then it was like right after that, COVID, I think it was COVID. George Floyd was killed, I think, before COVID, and then it was COVID. Or was it in the middle of COVID?
I think maybe
it was in the middle of COVID.
Okay.
Because Because after that, yeah, that's when all hell broke loose.
So even doing the Essence interview, things didn't really. I mean, yeah, I did an interview with them, but then when George Floyd was murdered, that's whenever things took off for me, because Wrangler, I'd been wearing Wrangler jeans since my whole life, rodeoing and riding horses. And they'd made the comment of how they stand with, Black Lives Matter and everything that happened, just speaking up about it. And I got on their post and I was like, I'm a black cowgirl. I've been riding horses. And I said it like that. It's like, I've been riding horses for however many years I had at that point. And I was like, thanks for speaking up. But I was like, I can go through all of your pictures and I don't see nobody that looks like me.
So you're calling people out at this point.
I mean, when they spoke up about it and they followed me immediately. Wow. Then they messaged me. They were like, hey, can we send you some stuff in the mail? I was like, sure. Like, what the hell? And you're then they were like, how this works. Yeah. And then they were like, hey, actually, can we do a brand photo shoot with you? And I was like, sure. Yeah, they're like, we'll find the photographer in Arkansas. We'll send you. And then, like, in a matter of them, I think they followed me. Then I think Boot Barn's seen it. Yeah. And then, like, an hour later, Boot Barn was like, hey, we're doing a photo shoot in Utah.
So falling right now. And it just,
they're like domino effect.
Like, no. Like, I've been doing this rodeo stuff, too. Has anyone popped in and been like, like, now that you're getting this recognition, not saying that they've won, but, like, oh, I've been in rodeo since did you have any negative from any other black girls or anything? Or were they like...
Actually, I haven't had any negativity from other black girls until, like, this past December, because I bumped into someone at the NFR, and I'm, like, the worst person in the world. Gotcha. Yeah, so,
But now, so are you getting support now?
Like, oh, yeah, there's always
thank
support.
You for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, honestly, it's not even getting hate from them. It's just jealousy. That's all it is. Yeah, I mean, whenever I can call it for what it is, then I don't even feel a way about it. Like, you're just, not that I think everybody's just jealous of me, but the way that it's sometimes when you listen to the way somebody talks about you, you're like, damn, you know all this about me, but you hate me, but you follow me, but you
it's the energy.
It's like, so there was just this one girl that spoke on me. I was like, I could just tell by the way she talked. I'm not, you probably already beat yourself down enough, so I'm not finna join you in your own party. Yeah. But you do not hate me. You do not hate me.
It's like, you don't realize, like, getting together and joining forces, what an impact, not only what an impact you're doing by yourself, but give two powerful, very, amazing black women to do it together. And then what a powerhouse that would be, instead of going against each other.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Because you're the first one to do it doesn't mean like you're saying no, you can't do it next.
Never.
You're like, no, I'm giving you a platform. So let's open.
Actually, instead of me being like, no, you can't do it next, I start my own damn rodeo queen pageant. Like, I'm trying to crown other black rodeo queens, other Hispanic. I don't want to be, half dead in my 90s or whatever, and then they crowned the first Hispanic Miss Rodeo America. Like, I'm wanting this to be of this, like, I want to see
trying to pave the way.
Diversity. Like, even if I, and it's not rewriting the whole wheel. I'm just gonna do it differently than you. And I look at my pageant and I'm like, I'm able to have this many. The white rodeo queens in my pageants, unfortunately, are the minority. But for me, looking at it, I'm like, I remember when I was always the only black one.
Right. Why is
always the only black girl? And there's not just one, white girl, but it feels so good to actually be like, how can I do it and y'all can't? How can I have this long line? I think I've got like 9 little Hispanic girls this year. I've got like 8, black little girls, and I'm like, how can I do it? And that just goes to show that the rodeo queen industry, y'all have a target market. Y'all have a target on who y'all are looking for. That's why we can't progress in this. That's why you don't see black rodeo queens. That's the reason I'm one of the first ones. That's why.
I see what you're
not
saying.
Because I'm trying to be different, I'm trying to be seen, I'm doing this, no, because of y'all. It's on you. If I can make all this happen, if I can pull little girls that look like me and don't look like me, what are y'all doing?
So that's crazy. So as you're saying that, you're like, you ruffle feathers because they're like, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing. And you're like, no, if I'm getting, if it was fine the way it was, why are you getting so much attention?
Yeah. If it was fine the way it was.
Why are you getting so much attention?
Like, every time, we do share the little deals. Yeah. I had one person, they were like, oh, she must be boosting the likes for the rodeo queen competition. I'm like, no, that's what y'all don't see is that they've never seen this many little black girls in a rodeo queen pageant. We're excited. You know, if I can take myself out of the equation of actually understanding this industry and knowing this industry and look from a different perspective, well, of course you're going to see a whole bunch of black people flood in and support these little black girls. They've never seen nothing like this. They don't see this. We don't see this. This is not normal.
And you're right.
You know,
with the pageants, like the kitty pageants, you don't see a lot of it's majority white, you know, and that goes for every race. And so, you know, if why is everyone acting, you know, shocked about it if it was this way
if it wasn't a big deal that people wouldn't give me their platforms. I mean, I did my rodeo queen pageant last year. And then I went on to talk. If what I was doing wasn't a big deal, and this is what I always try to remind people that try to tear down what I do. If it wasn't a big deal, they wouldn't put me in front of millions of people for me to talk about it. They wouldn't give me the platform. They wouldn't share these platforms with me for me to speak about it if I was doing something that did not matter.
If it was just like everyone else, right? So you've ruffled feathers.
And
but in a good way. And I don't understand.
Yeah, it's in a good way.
What's wrong with diversity? Why, you know, like with my son playing travel ball, we're the minority, right? I mean, you've got these travel ball kids. You are, and they're kids from all over. And he doesn't see that he's the only white, you know, because we've never talked about it being an issue. It's not
fed to him like he's not thinking that way.
No. And we had to have a serious conversation when
I mean, it's like growing up
thing, and they were having, you know, we went down there and I just wanted him to see. It wasn't that I was trying to be like, I'm showing my kid. It was just like I wanted him to understand, not the opposite, not that he needs to think that people are different or aren't different, because he didn't know that. It was that people think people are different. That was his mindset. And the same thing with my daughter, you know, we've always been that way. And so seeing that, I don't understand why it even matters. Why it's a thing. I didn't know, you know, I think Darius Rucker, the singer, was the first, when he was the lead singer of Hootie and the Blowfish, became a country singer. And like, oh, the first black, you know, country singer, Darius Rucker. And I'm just like, what is it? Like, I'm just like confused as to why this is.
Because they put...
Like, this is just my reality. I don't know your reality. So, you know, why is it a big why? Why, if you do something different than my skin can, why?
It's not because I mean, you see, like, when kids are growing up, you know, like when you're little, like when you're 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years old, you have like a black friend, a white friend. You guys are playing together, playing G.I. Joe, Barbies, whatever. It's not until you get older that you realize, oh, you know, like black, white, you know, like, because it's taught. It's taught by your parents. So your parents can either teach you the diversity or your parents can teach you some bullshit.
You think it's worth,
The most important thing, like, whenever it comes to especially kids, is like, it's important for them to know. Actually, it is very important, all of it. It's important because whenever you think of the things that we don't learn or we aren't taught in school, like I said with the Dandies, I was never introduced to racism till they were racist to me. I did not know racism. I've heard about it, but it's like, if you never personally have to go through this world and be different or stand out in a different circumstances, whatever way, if it's not even your skin color, you have, you know, some type of disability, you have speech impediment, someone's always going to have something to say. Someone's always going to be negative about it. And so when it comes to kids, like you said, kids don't see color. Kids don't understand racism. You are taught racism. You're taught to dislike somebody. And I think whenever you just have the perspective of like, you know, I'm not going to let my kids grow up to be racist. I'm not going to let my kids to grow up to be stupid. But if you don't introduce your kids to things, if you don't take your kids to Black Lives Matter marches, they might go join a frat. Like, I know there's one in Fayetteville where there was one where they had like a noose at a party, like some just dumb stuff. So it's like, you're going to raise your kids or the streets will for you. You know, so it's like, if you don't teach your kids these things, if you don't, you know, find importance in the things that are, you know, the public impact. And it's like, you know, we think, oh, like, why do we have to talk about what's so different? What's so different? The difference is whenever you see people like George Floyd get murdered right in front of us by a white cop. But, you know, it's also what you don't see. How police brutality. And it's the same against white people as well. But it's like when you think of how long, okay, when for me, I did major in journalism, but I also studied I also took all the Black history classes as well, because I wanted to know. So when you look at like government systems, like, you know, food stamps, welfare, when you know these things and you understand that these things were put into systematically hold people, just one particular demographic, whereas it does bleed into other, you know, white people are on the same things, Hispanics, everybody's on the same government assistance. But when you think of how, you know, bodies like, you know, how gangs like police officers and things like that were introduced, you realize that it was all systematically to deprive another race from being at the same level as another, as white people. So it's like we're as a Black woman, I see it's extremely important to me, because it's like all of these things, you know, for me, I have to like, based off of what my family comes from and our background, I have systematically like had to undo these things. I won't be on food stamps. I won't be on welfare. Police won't put fear in me. I won't not use my voice because someone tells me I can't, you know. And it's like, I think, oh, like, why am I the first Black rodeo queen? But if you don't recognize those people that are taking up space in these places, then little Black girls don't ever even think they can be rodeo queens. You know, if you don't see Kamala Harris's, then we don't even see ourselves in positions, Barack Obama's, we don't see ourselves as those people. That's why it's so important to speak about when you see the first Black, you see the first this, you see the first that, not to divide, but to also let us know, because for so long we don't see ourselves in those positions. You know, we see our grandparents come from, you know, the worst circumstances. My whole family was affected by the crack attack, you know, and different drugs being put in. And you think about, you know, the way that they didn't talk about crack, but the way they do talk about opioids, because it directly affects white people. You think about things like that, and that's why it's so important that you speak on Black issues and Hispanic issues and everybody, that natives, you know, it's so important that their history is understood. It's so important even now, whenever I get on social media, and I'm always in made up beef that these people have with me, and most of them are conservative white people, and I'm cool with that, because I consider myself conservative too. I'm just not racist, right? You know, so it's like whenever I think about those things, it's so important that I continue to step up and speak up, because I still have those same people. Oh, my culture, talking about the Western industry, my culture is not for you to dress up and be like, no. The thing is like, it's so sad when you think about people, because it's like, wow, you think that you just you've adopted this, you just took this shit from the vaqueros too. Like, it's so, it's really not that you have to mention the first Black this, the first Black that, or there's Blacks taking up space. It's the way that so many white individuals still have that, oh, we started this, we did this. No, you so, and where you look at history, so many times these things have literally just been snatched and had a white name put on it, you know. So I think that's what's the importance behind educating your kids, so they don't grow up to be idiots in this world, but also like letting them know and speaking about, like, you know, the importance of Black people, and how, like, even when you think of denim is from, it used to be called Negro cloth. I'm educating people right now about that. Like, I didn't know that white people started this, they did this. No, the first cowboys ever were vaqueros, but you wouldn't know that. Then you think of the word cowboy in itself. They used to use that word to derogatorily talk about Black men. They used to call them boys. Go get that cowboy. But then you have white people calling themselves cowboys, thinking, you know, when y'all change the perspective of it, when you change what it comes from, that's how our systems are. They change what it's considered. Oh, I'm a cowboy now. But when you look up what it actually means, where the word comes from, it was what they called black cowhands. Remember, y'all wanted to be cattlemen, but it's whenever it fits the narrative for it to be cool for them, then it's, oh, we're cowboys, your culture appropriating us. It was never yours to begin with.
Today's episode wouldn't be possible without one of our amazing sponsors, Franklin for Life, a trucking company steering you towards success. You want to get a hold of them? No problem. 479-384-1586. Thank you, Franklin for Life.
Right. That's why it's so important for Black to be in front of the first, the second, the importance, because we don't see ourselves in these positions. Unfortunately, that we lack representation. Absolutely.
Unfortunately, that even has to be a thing, that you have to be a first at something, right?
And it's like, also crazy to me. Always just understanding that our whole system, the whole country, like our whole 50 states were built off racism, right? Literally. So it's inevitable. Yeah. It's inevitable.
So for you to be so young and to speak up about such, you know, hard truths and hard things, you know, like having this conversation with you, you know, I'm learning a lot, because I do
tell me some shit too
for such a long time, you know, like I'm in a bubble of, I understand it's there, and I understand it's just not my day to day, because I root for everyone. I don't care. I care less. It's, you know, whoever you want to love, it's whoever you want. I'm the same way with gender preferences. It doesn't matter to me at all. I just love everyone. If you're a good person, if I don't like you and you so happen to be Asian or black, it's not because you're of the color. I just don't like you as a person because maybe you're just a shitty human, you know, and that has nothing to do with the color. And that could go the same as white people. It just doesn't matter. But going into that, I think that you're making such a huge statement in a way that's you're explaining it.
Yeah.
You're not accusing, you know, you're educating. And I think that's
ever
important.
Consider someone or call someone racist. I mean, it's our interaction because I mean, I always say, like, if someone's like, oh, she's a bitch, please believe them. Because depending on how they talk to me, and because I've always stood on the same type of time. Like, I've always said, you got to get respect to give it. So if you come to me, you disrespect me and you're rude to me, do not expect me to do anything less than reciprocate that same energy. Because I will never let nobody talk to me like I'm this big. And I always say that, like, you'll never talk to me like I'm small, because I didn't grow up with someone being treated like a doormat. My mom was never talked to like she was this big, but also because of the racism I've been through and some of the things.
You're not even supposed to be here. You understand?
I always say that. Yeah, statistically, I shouldn't be half the woman that's true.
And for you to be here and to have your voice, you're in the right place.
Yeah. So,
and if you have to be a first, I'm glad it's you. I know I am.
Yeah,
and,
really
and it's hard for me to hear these things that you're saying, because like I you know, people, you know, can get easily offended, like, whoa, why are you, you know, oh, nothing. No, we need to hear these hard truths. I need to hear these hard truths. I need to hear these things that are real, even though it's not real in my everyday. It's real for you. It's real for my family. It's real for my friends, you know. And so getting into that, you had. Tell me, you put on the first rodeo. Did you put on a rodeo here?
Yes.
Was there some backlash with
that? So it was actually postponed, but we'll be doing it March 16th. Okay. I'm so excited. It
was postponed.
Yes, it was postponed. I was working with a bad business partner. Yeah. That was it. Really, I mean, I have the full support of everybody that started it with me. I mean, it was almost together, but I didn't realize that first I was working with a man. Tyler Killajack, because one day I'm going to be able to thank him. Okay. And we'll get there. Yeah. But I was working with TK. He ran off with $15,000. If it made him better, that's fine, whatever. At first he was charging us $30,000 to be our stock contractor. I didn't even realize that was crazy. I just told the people that was putting the money up that's how much it was going to cost, and they were like, "Okay, let's run with it." And I was like, you know, not even realizing. But I remember like our second conversation, cuz I am a Taurus, I'm a bull, I'm very bullheaded, I'm very comfortable in any space, any position. I played football with 110 guys. A man does not put no fear in me. Yeah. And he was just very like nonchalant, and I reciprocate that energy. He's like, well, I've just never had to work with a woman putting on a rodeo. And I didn't realize that was my first. It was so much in my life. Like, I'd never seen nothing like that in my life.
He thought you were a woman. Man. Publicity. He thought he was going to get one over.
Well, I mean, he used I see it all the time. Yeah. You say Jadayia Kursh, you're going to get a little bit of attention. You know, you mention my name, they're going to look at you. You know, and I don't think, I mean, now looking back, even some of the contestants, they were like, hey, you know, everything that you're posting, all the work that you're putting into the rodeo, your stock contractor that you hired is supposed to be doing that. I'm like, oh. Like, I'm not even
going into this with blind loyalty.
Man, Tyler taught me more about the rodeo, putting on a rodeo, because it's one thing to be a part of one, but it's a whole different dynamic putting one on. Yeah. He taught me more than I would have ever learned putting on rodeos in the 3 months that we worked together than I would have ever.
Your name's there, so you're the first person they're going to come for because you're the loudest about it. Yes.
And so, whereas I remember I was so upset, but I knew it had to be postponed because the way he was talking to me, and even the way he was talking to our mayor. The mayor was like, whenever mayor said, let's push it back, I was like, let's do it. That's where I hated, everyone's like, talking all this crap about me. I'm like, I'm doing this whole event with the city. Like, this is not, like, we're not working with Jadayya's budget. We're not working with Jadayya's nothing. Like, am I putting in and forking up a bunch of money as well? Absolutely. But it was never just my thingy. Like, it was also a whole group of people, a whole group of support. Unfortunately, my face was just what was being pushed on it. And so, all came to worse. He said what he needed to say. People come out of the woodworks. I really, it just showed me who I needed to not make sure I don't speak to.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, those same people, like 3 weeks later when I brought Mama Todd out here, were like, oh my gosh, how can I come meet her? Weren't you just talking about me on a post? What do you mean?
Let's get to that. Everyone knows, I mean, if you're in the TikTok universe, everyone knows who Mama Todd is, or if you don't, you should, right? Mm-hmm. She is a huge influencer on TikTok. She's she's from Mobile, Alabama. Mm-hmm. She's got the sweetest voice. She is, I wouldn't say she's in her 40s, is she? Yeah. She always has to come sit with me and talks. She's kind of like the mother of TikTok. Yeah. She's your safe place. And she recently lost her son. And so if you know Mama Todd, you will love her. And I feel like if you watch her TikToks, you feel like you know her. She's everyone's mom if you don't have one. And I think that's how she came on the platform. So tell us, like, how did you all I heard was, I said earlier, I was like, I don't know anything about you, and I mean that. I didn't. Things that I saw were just things that people shared, and then I kind of read a snippet and I went on about my day, right? So I didn't deep dive, but I did see where Mama Todd was with you. I had heard about the rodeo thing. Your name's in the headlines with this. If anything goes wrong, it is your fault. And I do understand, because I have the Fort Smith Fashion Project, and what people don't understand is, even though you say this is mine, and remember you interviewed us with that and stuff, but you're with a team of people, and each person has a job and is responsible for something. And you put these people on your team to kind of give our viewers some perspective on what putting on an event is like, whether it's small or big. Okay, you put these people in these positions to be responsible, whether it's money or it's scheduling or it's reaching out to people. But you put these people in positions that you trust. And you're so busy doing other things that you don't really go back and say, hey, want to make, because you trust those people. When something goes wrong, when there's money missing or something happening or somebody's doing something, the first person they're going to look at is the person that's in front of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you may not be responsible for everything. And so I just want to say that when a big production is happening, there's a lot that goes into it. So when something fails, it's not like she's saying, putting money in her pocket and going about it.
I lost so much money.
And I mean, nobody sees that. But I also think the fact that maybe did you come out with it and be like, here's what it is, or did you just keep it behind closed doors?
Yeah.
Because that may have also probably played an effect of what people thought, because you leave people to come up with their own imagination, they're going to go up with the worst because they want to see you.
Absolutely.
Right, they do. Yes. You have some people truly want to see you succeed. But when something goes wrong, they're, did you see that girl try to put on that rodeo? And she, and then they just take it because they want to see a pretty successful girl fail. Period. Doesn't matter your race. And I'm sure that probably does have a lot to racist people. But any pretty girl that fails, people love that shit.
There was a rodeo postponed, and that was supposed to be the Christmas rodeo. And 3 people liked it. Oh, it's postponed. Okay. But I postponed a rodeo and it goes viral. Look at this. You know what I love though is more than anything is when people come for me negatively. They're like, oh, let me just tear her down. She's already been kicked in the stomach. Let me kick her in the face. What I love is my mentality. Because I'm like, oh, what I love. I'm like, okay. You guys feel like y'all one-upped on me, and I'm fine with that. Feel that, like, eat it up. Do what you need to do to feel good. Just wait till you see what's coming. And I'm just that person, and I've always been this way. I'm like, okay, at the moment I feel like, I don't know, and I don't know why I'm like this. The moment I feel like someone's like got their thumb on me, because that's how I felt with that Tyler guy. Signed a contract with him, already gave him $15,000. Like, oh, how can I get out of having to put this show on with him because he makes me feel disgusting. He talks back. He talks down to me. Like I said, more than anything, what he taught me in 3 months, I would have never learned. But then what I turned around and did, March 16th, I'll be hosting the first ever Bass Reeves Rodeo. So it's like where you thought you were tearing me down, I'm about to make history again. It's like where you were laughing at me just last year when that shit went to fail. 6 months later, I put it back together and did it again. And whereas you thought you were tearing me down, it was the Fort Smith Classic. Now it's the Bass Reeves Rodeo. I'm about to take it to Georgia. Already planning a date for this month. Whereas you thought y'all thought I was about to fail or something wasn't about to be seen through the way I wanted it to do. What you did was gave me more time, more opportunity to really turn this around and make it everything that I know it can be.
You dropped the mic. We're done. it seems like everything from point A, from the time you came into this earth, whether or not you understand it, you do, you have a really good perspective on yourself. Everything in this that's happened to you has happened for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no other, whether it's God you believe in or it's not. Everything has a lot. So you can't progress without failing.
Yeah.
You have to fail.
You're not even trying if you ain't failing.
You have to fail.
True. It's true.
When you see somebody like, you fail or me fail, you want to hear this, but girl, don't worry about it. But it's like for you, it's like, aha. It's aha. And then, but what's going to happen is over time, they're just going to shut the hell up. Because they can't get over it. And that's going to piss them off more. So you got this bass race, which you spoke about bass race, to go into that, and I can't wait to learn.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
You get Mama Tot here. What the hell did that happen, girl?
Like, so me and Mama Tot have been friends since, I've been on TikTok since 2019. Okay. Since Charlie first started going viral. Yeah. And then I started going viral on TikTok because oh, you're cute, but we don't dress like that. I love when people go to Walmart. Like, these are things I'll never forget. I love when people go to Walmart and buy cowboy boots and think they're a cowboy. I was like, what the hell? So then I'm responding.
No, that's me, bitch. Okay. I'm like, pair of boots for the Morgan Wallen concert. Y'all couldn't tell me shit. I was like,
Morgan Wallen.
I'm going to change my whole persona. Like, bitch, I never claimed not to ride. I'm like, I can ride, baby. No. I put them boots on, boy. Y'all just can't see me skipping. Now, that's me. Y'all me. But I don't walk the walk.
So I actually gained my TikTok following based off of, like, responding to them. And I was like, Walmart boots? I got like 12 pair of boots right here with spurs on them, broken in. Like, I rodeoed for real. What do you mean? And then, the outfits were cute, but we don't dress like that. I remember I had like 12 button downs on my arms and I was like just throwing them on the ground. Yeah. And I did it to like, you can do anything you want when you sexy. And I had another dress on with some boots on. That's how Fallon Taylor found me. But Mama Tot, she was always in my comments. Watch your mouth.
Yes, I love that.
And that's how we become friends before she even like had millions of followers.
So y'all are organic.
So, I remember one day I was my third year of college, and I was literally she probably had like 1 million followers at this point, but she had not taken off near as far as she is now. I think she got like 14 million.
Yeah, it's insane.
So I remember I was sitting in my African American studies class, and it said Mama Tot tagged you in a video. And I like left my class. I'm watching the video, and she was just, I just want to introduce y'all to my mutual Jadayia. She's a birthmark radio queen. Just look how beautiful. I was like,
I like the line.
Mama Tot. I was like, you're like my whole. I love you so much. And
she speaks up for the people. Yeah. She does. She's very she speaks up for the gay community. Yes. She speaks up for she really does. Speaks up for whether or not whatever she really does. She speaks up for that, and I love that about it.
Yeah, and we were just kind of intertwined after that, and then I was like, okay, I'm hosting Cowgirls of Color Camp Out. And I just wanted, more than anything, I wanted to be around like-minded women. But I was like, who is someone that I could get down here that I know would like love on us? Because it's so like Cowgirls of Color, we lack the diversity and representation. Who's someone? And I was like, oh my gosh, let me message Ophelia.
Have y'all talked at all? Or, on the phone? Have y'all FaceTimed or anything prior to this?
No, we were just friends on Facebook, Instagram. We're friends on all the platforms. Okay. So I texted her, and besides like doing video on TikTok.
But never like in person.
So I texted her, I was like, hey, can you call me? I'm doing this event. I would love to have you. And then she called me. And my little brother was like, is that Mama Tot? I was like, yeah, this is Mama Tot. She was like, her.
I love her. I was like, her videos.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'm doing this Cowgirls of Color Camp Out. I would love to have you. I was like, and she's seen all my struggles, all the racism I went through. And I was like, I want to get groups of women that, of every different race in our industry together so we can all like, just vibe and get to know each other and maybe make this a whole thing. Yeah. And I was like, I just couldn't think of anybody better to come like love on us and support us and be there for us and give us like she's been through so much. Yeah, so I was like, who better? Incredible. I've been through stuff, but I'm still young. I was like, I just want, like someone that I see as a mentor. And so
I was about to say, y'all's stories are quite, y'all have the same, like a lot of the same struggles. She was on Bunny's podcast. That's where she really dove into that. I'll send it. It was really good. It was a 2-part podcast, and she goes into her story, and to see her such a positive persona coming from where she. Do you look at her and be like, this is who do you resonate with her and like see yourself being that for somebody as you get older? Like, is that somebody?
You know what's so crazy? Whenever you're like whenever I feel like when you get to know people, you don't watch their videos anymore.
Yeah.
But like, I don't keep up with all of her stuff, but because she had such an impact on me, like at the beginning, like when maybe I wasn't as healed as I am now. Yeah. You know? So, but I love everything about her. Like even sometimes when she does the like sit downs, she's like, hey baby, and I'm just like, I need this today. Needed that, but more than anything, I love to be that for other people, but I feel like for me, like my message and everything that I'm trying to get across right now, I can't be so vulnerable because she also deals with a lot. She does. Like she gets so much hate just as much as she does. Yeah. She loves on everybody. And she gets so much. And so for me, it's hard for me to think that I could be so vulnerable and so like open with people and get that. Like I would have lost my mind if I through half the things that she said and told me that she's been through. Just like even the things she doesn't post on social media. I'm not strong enough to deal like that. Yeah. And I'm not strong enough to allow people to feel like they can play with me like that. Yeah. You know, like to be in my space or to, you know, So for me, I have to be, I guess, what they think I am. Oh, she's mean. She's this. And maybe I need to carry myself that way for you not to play with me and take what I'm saying serious. Yeah.
And I love that.
So it's like for me, I can't be that yet. But when I can be, I would love to. Because I'm all of that.
No, right. You know, I get what you're saying. And she's already past that point. Yeah. Like
it's a process, you know.
She came into that being that, you know, so she didn't have to. Nobody saw where the progress of where you've started. Like everyone's seeing you in real time, and she kind of just came in being that. And so whatever she was before that, nobody really saw, right? So all of this, and it's all connecting the dots, and it's such a huge. It's a lot to digest, right? This is a lot for me to digest because we've talked about so much. So where are you at today? What are we doing right now today? What is happening with you
today?
And what do you have coming up?
Okay.
There's a lot happening for you right now.
Yes, I know.
So what is happening?
Today, I have rodeo queen practice later. I have my rodeo queen. So we're doing the pageant. And so I'm preparing for all that. But I've been working on children's books. So I released one of them. It was supposed to be like this big, like, I wanted to do like this huge photo shoot and all this stuff. And then my mom sent it to everybody in her contact list.
Well, of course, that's okay.
So like my mom's friend text, she's like, my book's here. So I released, so actually just to dive into like the background of it, actually. So, you know, I'm going to pull it out.
Pull it out.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have it? Oh, yeah. Let's see it.
So it's Cowgirl J and the Magical Lasso. And this is my 1, 2, 3 book. And I've been working on it. It probably, I mean, I did it 1, 2, 3 an ABC book. So it's been about a year, but it just goes through and it like introduces the kids really to horses. And it tells different things about horses and things like that. And then they can count the horses 1, 2. So yeah. But all of this came to attrition because I was always wondering, like, of course I know that I talk, you know, just even being here, like there's people that will like be able to resonate with me, but I'm like, if I've always said like my counselor, how can I be that for little kids? How can I, if I could ever step in and be that for someone else?
This book
so well, and there will be some people that are upset about it, but they're okay because it's about my whole life. They don't know how to
count. I bet they watch. They don't know how to count.
Whenever Cowgirl J came to attrition, Cowgirl J is me, and the Magical Lasso is like Dora the Explorer's backpack. It has magical trinkets, and so I'm just introducing them to this character. This is Cowgirl J, and this is Freckle. Freckle was the horse that I borrowed from my coach, and she looked just like this. She was a red mare. And then my senior year at Hackett, I had a mini pig named Bacon Bits.
Oh yeah.
So this is Bacon Bits, Cowgirl J, Bacon Bits. And then so just a little bit about she has spurs on. She has a cowgirl, her belt buckle, but her magical trinkets. We're gonna go on adventures. So the Magical Lasso. It holds all of her magical trinkets, like the harmonica, and we'll use the harmonica when she's out in like California, because I want to base it off of like our real world. There's a lot of wild horses in California, so when she's going to wrangle some horses in California, since they're wild horses, her harmonica will calm down them and soothe them. And then she has sparkling dust, and you sparkle the dust and it'll reveal hidden pathways, like when she's on whatever adventure she'll be on. This is our whispering.
It's just into a cartoon, girl.
Oh, it's all of that.
It's gonna be all of that.
No, not yet.
But it's all meaningful. Everything means something to you.
Yes, the Whispering Stone, it's turquoise. I love turquoise. Yeah. And I always feel like whenever I'm wearing turquoise, I feel protected.
So turquoise is the sign of protection. Yeah. It's a very powerful stone.
And that's how I've always felt. So I did that, and then we have healing saliva. So like whenever she's out there and she's wrangling a cow and like she gets a cut, she'll just like when because for me, this book is so much more than, just another children's book. Right. Like, this is it's the embodiment of my life and things like that, but being able to introduce it to children. And so, Cowgirl J, I did the 1, 2, 3 in the ABC book just to introduce them, but I have stories, I have a lot of Native American friends. So it's like, I want to introduce kids to like where the land actually comes from, like where, the reason we're able to take up space here. I want to introduce them to Vaquero cowboys. So it's like Cowgirl J, when she goes on her adventure, it won't just be me and my sidekicks. It will be telling stories, but like yes.
My husband's Native American, and he was talking about that earlier about the land and stuff, and his stories, and like his family's names are in the clinics in Oklahoma.
You're talking about that?
Yeah,
really.
And
like, Native American.
Like, he's Native. Yeah, and so I love that. I love this. I love this.
That's so good.
Yeah. Want to like tell her stories and tell my stories, like actual like real stories that I've experienced, the things that I see, but to kids, like I'm gonna tell one of the covers, and it's because like I feel like whenever people copy your ideas, you have to watch me first to be able to.
Exactly.
So I can talk about my ideas.
Yeah, you're never going to do it how I do it.
You're missing going to do it. Flavor, ingredients, and it's me.
Yeah, and it's
like,
your story.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You lived it. So there's no one that can copy that.
Right. So for like an example, one book that will be like for kids, but it's like impactful to me is my dandy, being on the dandies. And I know there's this picture of all 19 of us, and then you just see the little black girl at the end. Yeah. And like I want that to be like a cover for one of my books, so I can talk to kids about not racism but being different, because kids don't understand racism, but they understand being different.
They do.
So it's like to have that, and just to be able to tell them like, hey, there was this girl that loved animals and loved horses, but she was treated different because of whatever reason we come up with for it to be in that book. But then she wound up being, this voice, just telling, okay, maybe it'll end with me getting crowned rodeo queen, even though I went through so much adversity. Yeah. So it's just like being able to tell my story to kids.
Giving them hope.
So, and I've never seen like a black cowgirl on the front of a cover, as far as like when it comes to children's books. Being in school, I've never seen that. Yeah. I've never seen anybody that looked like me. As far as that loves what I love. Yeah. And so I don't know. I just felt like there was a whole market to be taken up, and so,
they broke the mold when they made you, baby. You hear me?
Yeah.
As somebody else, they broke the mold when they made you, and I can say with confidence that I'm sure every little girl that looks like you or went through what you went through, you've given them that hope, and I think that's important. Have you ever wanted to open up a counseling center with horses that helped you? Is that a goal of yours? Did you ever think about doing something like that?
Yeah,
I could just see you having a ranch and having, because I know that they do use horses for a lot of therapy with drug addiction and a lot of things. A lot of things. Have you ever wanted to maybe open up something like that?
Yeah, I feel like I've always seen it like being a part of like.
I don't think you have a limit. I think you're going to do everything.
So I want to have a ranch and everything here. I really wanted to do like the whole foundation for ag for kids here. Yes. But Fort Smith can be so slow moving.
Yes, it is.
And so whereas where I always feel like I have to stutter step here, I can thrive in Georgia. Yeah, and so it will be all of that up there, I feel like, and that would definitely be a big part of it, because that's how I was introduced to horses. But I do plan on having something here for the kids.
I think wherever you're successful, and we talked about this with Jay, you can be successful anywhere, but you can always come back here and you'll have a home here. Yeah. Do I think when we've talked about this, even just trying to pop off with this podcast, it's hard to get support from your own hometown. It's so hard. It is our biggest downfall. It is our biggest obstacle is our own peers we live with every day. And because I think they'd be quicker to listen to somebody somewhere else than they will be in their own town.
Absolutely.
So whether you do that here or anywhere, it's all the same because you're from here and you're representing here. And I think that's incredible. So to wrap all this up, because I feel like I could talk to you from forever and ever and ever, what do you want to leave our viewers with? Yeah. Is there anything you want to clear up? Is there anything, a misconception about you that you want to clear? And I know you're very, that is on you. But if there's anything you want to say to any of your followers, viewers, fans, we don't even use haters, we're going to use fans. What would it be?
As far as clearing up, I always say I don't have time to change people's opinions about me. Yeah. So I really don't have anything to clear up. I just always say, because I even get the response from like women older than me and people older than me, is just to never allow anybody to mute you. I always say that, like, never allow anybody to mute you. Never allow anyone to make you feel like your voice isn't important, your story, like always, just be who you are confidently. I feel like that's the reason I've been able to, see so much success is because of the way that I am with myself. Like the way that I'm not even nonchalant, don't care, because I care about a lot of things, but someone's opinion of me, it holds very little weight to, it does not defect my armor because I know who I am. And like all of the things that I've went through in life that make me who I am, most people couldn't walk a day in my shoes. No. So I'm not even about to listen to you your life. Of course, everybody's lives hold weight, but you don't come from any substance. You don't come from understanding anything I've ever been through. So your opinion of me could never hold weight in my life. So I don't have anything to clear up, but I do have to say, just never allow anyone to mute you. Never allow anybody to tell you to shut up and you shut up and be quiet.
Right. No. I love that.
Your voice is important. Whatever is important to you. You never know when you're telling your story if you're telling someone else's story.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. You don't know who's listening and silent about it. Absolutely. And I love it. I was always told, you're way more confident than I have ever been in my entire life. But there's somebody that once told me that when I was doing my like different projects and stuff, like I love doing nonprofit work and things. And I said, I feel like I'm pushing and I'm not getting anywhere. I feel like I want to change the world. And they looked at me and they said, quit worrying about changing the world. If you change one person's life, you have done your job. That's it. That is all you need to do, because that person may change another person who's going to change. You never know. So always focusing on just that one person who needs you, not 100 people that needs you, right? So, well, you got anything before we wrap it up?
I have nothing. I just want to say it's been a pleasure. Your story's been amazing. I'm hitting the mic again. But yeah, the story's been amazing. Thank you for coming. So much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Where can we find you? Let's drop some socials out there. Where to find you? How to contact you if they want to be involved with anything you got going on.
So I normally I'm on like Facebook and Instagram, and TikTok is not my favorite place to be, but on all of my platforms, it's just Jadayia Kursh.
Okay. Yeah. And we'll add that to our little bio at the bottom.
At the bottom.
Man, thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
In your safe space. Thank you for allowing us to be here with you today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And if there's anything I can tell anyone, don't ever assume, and we talked about that a minute ago. Yeah. I had no idea what to expect from you. So I kind of was like, all right, where are we going to go with this? You're home for me. You're safe. And like, we got your back always, girl. I cannot wait through all the fans in your life. Yeah. We're true fans. Okay. I love Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Can't wait. We can't wait to have you back. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Whether it's 10 people, 10,000 people, it's all the same love from us. Remember, support local, shop local, follow local, and remember, take care of your community, because that's where it's at. We will see you guys next time on Fort Group.
Boom.
Today's episode would not be possible without our sponsors. Today's sponsor is Stainless Innovations, Designs, and Fabric Custom. It's an equipment for front and back of house food service faculties across America. Headquartered here in Fort Smith, Arkansas. To get in contact with them, 479-783-1900. Stainless Innovations, thank you for sponsoring our podcast for today.